Good morning and welcome to the most important meal of the day. This is the Breakfast Cafe and we give you a fresh start every day. I am Olumide Shokoya. Of course, I'm not flying solo. I also have the ever-popping, looking so radiant. Welcome, Sarah Wosansa.
Thank you, thank you. I'm very well, thank you. You know, it's a beautiful new day, Tuesday, the 15th day in the month of October, and I'm super excited to welcome to the program. I am Sarah Wosansa. I trust your week started off on a great note. Talking about the week starting off on a great note. I don't know how many of us are on this table, but yesterday, you know, we saw another collapse of the national grid.
Yes.
And a lot of areas have been affected. My area is affected, you know. To think that, you know, when you have this confidence,
yes,
and you just relax when you're supposed to make use of power,
yes,
iron, and do one or two things, or charge your gadgets, and you're like, there's always lights, there's always power. And then you just wake up, maybe you took a nap, and guess what? There's no power. That was the situation for me yesterday. And because I took a nap, so when I woke up, I felt like, okay, because they're not taking it for days. Maybe they just want to
fix one or two things.
Let's just rest.
Let you rest.
Until I went online and I started seeing updates. National grid collapse here, and they're like, oh, I've lost track of the number of times the national grid has collapsed this year alone.
I think it's is it safe to say it's every month now?
No, it's not every month, but I think this is like the fourth or fifth time there, but like the fourth time that is collapsing. But are you affected by this? You can let us know. That's just what we woke up to. Oh, yeah, we still woke up to it anyways. But besides that, it's a beautiful Tuesday. As always on the Breakfast Cafe, we give you headlines on the national dailies. We also give you trending stories. We give you banters and etiquette, views from the net. We have interesting conversations as well as weather forecast, and you're in for a ride today. So stick around. We're back in a moment.
Welcome, this is Banters, and today we'll be looking at personal growth through hardship. You know, they say you don't go through fire and expect not to sweat. So basically, of course, when you go through hardship, there are lessons learned, and it's just like gold. It goes through fire, it goes through a whole lot of things to become as bright and colorful as it is.
See, when I saw this Banters and etiquette topic, in my head I was like, what exactly was the producer thinking? Because at first I saw it on the surface level, personal growth through hardship. When I'm trying to fight for my life, trying to survive the economy, and then going deeper, you'd actually see how it can help you also develop yourself and work on certain things.
And I think that word is a word that's common in Nigeria now. Hardship is something that we have all embraced, that okay, we're in this thing together. So let's start off. Personal growth through hardship refers to the process of developing and transforming an individual in response to challenging experiences. Now, personal growth through hardship is a transformative process of self-improvement, self-awareness, and resilience building that occurs in an individual, or that occurs when an individual faces or navigates difficult situations, leading to increased emotional intelligence, character development, and deeper understanding of oneself and the world. Now, we have key concepts. One, resilience, the ability to bounce back from adversity. I think that's what Nigerians are known for. That's why they always say whenever we get to heaven, they should just give us a pass. That
we've already seen a lot of shege, if we can use that word.
Pro-man.
Right.
You know, moving on, we have post-traumatic growth, PTG, positive transformation following traumatic experiences. I think one or two people have had, you know, some post-traumatic experiences and all that. Now, adversity-driven growth, personal growth resulting from overcoming challenges, self-awareness. Now, understanding one's thought, emotion, and behaviors. I think that one is also very key. To be able to understand that, okay, I can actually go through this thing and I can find a way of persevering, because, you know, like I said, Nigerians, we are known for persevering. Now, the last one, emotional intelligence. This is also very important. The ability to recognize and manage emotions. Yes, when you are going through hardship, you know, well, maybe for men, we are being told that whenever you're going through hard things, you don't show it, you bottle everything up, you try to be a man and don't let anybody know what's going on.
I think the narrative is changing, where, you know, men need to embrace the fact that they are also humans. They go through challenges as well, and it's okay to talk about it. It's okay to seek help. It's okay to have a shoulder to lean on. It just means that the person that you're confiding to has to understand that, okay, it's not really in a man's nature. There's this egoistic thing about them. So for a man to be able to open up to you, that's the time you need to embrace him and understand and just be. I saw something on social media a couple while ago, I don't know how true it is, about a particular man that decided to open up to his lover, you know, about challenges at work, how money wasn't coming in so frequently, and all of that. And afterwards,
let me guess.
She asked him, okay, out of the money you promised me.
Imagine.
Now, that was very insensitive, right? And if you, that kind of man, if you tell him to open up next time, he wouldn't, because at the end of the day, you're still billing me. So we also need to understand, now, the receiving end, it might be a woman, it might be a man, it might be the parent, it might be the siblings, it might not necessarily be a lover, but we need to understand that it's when people open up to us, sometimes they just want to be vulnerable. Sometimes they don't even need advice. They don't want you to say anything. They just want to enjoy that your presence, that silence. So we need to understand that as well.
All right, now we have types of hardship which Nigerians are familiar with. Emotional, loss, grief, relationship.
This is not a Nigerian thing. Let's not make this a Nigerian thing.
No, we are familiar. We're not embracing it, but we are familiar with certain hardships.
Everybody around the world or anywhere, hardship is everywhere. I wouldn't want us to now just make it because of the economic situation in the country, just make it Nigerians are familiar, Nigerians, and everybody around the world has hardship. You know.
All right, now we have physical, illness, injury, pain, financial, poverty, debt, unemployment, social, that has to do with discrimination, bullying, isolation, psychological, anxiety, depression, and trauma. Lastly, let's look at the stages of personal growth through hardship, shock and denial. We have acceptance and acknowledgement. We have exploration and self-reflection. We have transformation and growth. We have integration and consolidation. Now, lastly, benefits. Yes, benefits of hardships through, I beg your pardon, benefits of, let's look at benefits rather. Increased self-awareness, emotional intelligence, improved resilience and coping skills. Improved resilience and coping skills. The Nigerians, they have what? Nigerians have a way of coping. You know, we have a way of not coping. I wouldn't say adapting is the better word.
We are able to really adjust to situations. Yes. So when things happen, we are very. At first, it might seem very tasking and all of that, but give it a little time. Nigerians have a way of navigating through. It doesn't mean that it's the perfect way. It just means that sometimes we accept certain things as our reality
beyond our control,
and we just find a way to live through it.
Now we have enhanced problem solving and adaptability. We have deeper relationships and empathy. We have greater purpose and meaning in life. Increased confidence and self-esteem. We have spiritual growth and awakening. I think let's stop for now.
I think we should take the strategies.
Okay, let's take the strategies. Now, strategies for personal growth through hardship, mindfulness and meditation. I've always wanted to practice this meditation thing.
Some people do it through yoga.
Through yoga, yes. Yeah. Well, journaling and reflection. I always wanted to write down things, you know, experiences and all that. Just write it down so that you can reflect on it.
It's never too late to start.
Well,
you can still start.
Maybe one day I will stop procrastinating. Now, seek support, therapy, friendship, and family. Just like Sarah said, whoever you are going to open up to, make sure that person is also emotionally matured enough to receive your complaints and all that. We have self-care and prioritization. If you can do it yourself, why not? Learning from mistakes and failures. Yes, you have to also learn from your mistakes and failures. Practicing gratitude and positivity. Positivity is what you need throughout life. embracing challenges as opportunities. So basically, whatever you're going through, see it as a challenge and an opportunity to grow better. I think that's all we have right now from Bantus. Stick around, we have the newspaper review coming up next.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Cafe, and this segment is the newspaper review. This is where we take a look at stories trending on the front pages of the national dailies. And we kick off this morning with the Punch newspaper. And what does it have for us? This one says, the major read says, PDP factional chairman clash as governors fail to resolve crisis. There's a rider to that story, and it says Damagum camp threatens to arrest Mohammed-led National ESCO. Damagum camp threatens to arrest Mohammed-led National ESCO. Now, this is a page 2 read. This is in regards to the crisis that is going on in PDP.
Yes.
At the moment. But let's move on away from that. Just above that story, NNPC sells PMS to Ipman at 995 naira per litre. Now, what should we expect from this?
1,002.
995
because
naira.
they will add theirs.
If they're selling to Ipman at 995 naira.
they'll add 200 naira, let's say 100 naira for transportation and maybe 100 naira gain. They have to also make their own.
So there's no relief at the end of the day.
There's no relief.
Right. But we can see the picture of the NNPC boss, Mele Kyari. The story is a page 24 read on the Punch newspaper. Just above the masthead, federal government plans 25% tax on Nigerians earning above 100 million naira. This
Sarah,
amazes me.
who's earning above 100 million naira?
Oh, there are people that earn above 100 million naira.
Private or government workers?
Businesses. There are
Businesses,
business
all right.
owners that earn above 100
No,
million naira. So we're looking at a case where tax is based on how much income you earn. That will determine the amount of tax you're paying. Because now they're looking at 25% for those that are earning above 100 million.
So I should be praying not to get richer and remain poor.
Well, I don't know what to say. Beside that story, Nigeria lost $15 billion to fuel subsidy forex round tripping. That's according to the World Bank. It's on page 2. Import duty, federal government grants private jet owners 30-day extension. We saw the story yesterday where they were set to ground about 60 private jets,
yes,
which included private jets owned by bank owners and top officials. But they've given them a 30-day extension, and we hope that they're able to resolve this. Moving on very quickly, Lagos seals distress structure as 2-story building collapses. I saw the video.
Yes, it
on
was
social
quite
media.
scary.
Yeah, when the building came down. But according to report, no life was lost. We're grateful for that. But this conversation around building collapse, we've seen a whole lot of building collapse in the space of about 3-4 years now, more than what it used to be. You know, this is the video of
Yes, the
of
way
the
it
building
went down,
collapse. It just
was
went down, you know. See people scampering around for safety. You see, like it just fell flat.
like it was made of paper. It felt as if the
Yeah.
building was made of paper. It's quite
We're
scary.
glad that no life was lost and the structure has been sealed. We hope that we don't get to see more cases like this. Conversation around building. I know there was a time Lagos started to seal off and demolish some illegal structures and all of that. So, but let's move on very quickly to this story. Heroic Eagles return home after 17 hours Libyan ordeal. The writer to that story says federal government protests officially summons envoy as CAF promises probe. This story has been trending. It's on page 79 Punch newspaper, where the Super Eagles, you know, were held at Libya at the airport, and we saw pictures of so many things. The video of the bus that was used to pick up the Libyan players and the bus that was used to pick up the Super Eagle players, and there was so much disparity. And after, according to reports, the Libyans were lodged in an hotel, you know, close to the airport and all of that, but the Super Eagles were left stranded, nowhere to charge their phone, nothing to eat. It was as though they were being held hostage. And they said they were not going to play the match anymore. They cancelled playing the ball. They are back into Nigeria, by the way, and Libya has threatened legal action over Nigeria's withdrawal from the AFCON qualifiers.
I just have one thing to say.
People have been saying Nigeria should sever ties with Libya, that this is very uncalled for. While some are saying it might be some sort of retaliation, because there was a time where something, like they were also being delayed in court.
Yes.
But you said...
I want to say something. Football has always been something that's brought different people together, black, white, people of different colors. And now it's as if every other thing is creeping into football. Football was kind of like our haven. You know, we saw how people just came together because of in the spirit of football. So we should try as much as possible to remove that, impurity or whatever is not pure. We should remove it from football. Football brings people together. Let's try and resolve it. Not cut ties or severe ties or whatever. Let's try and resolve it. Football brings everybody together. Let's still maintain that.
But that's what it is right now. But that's it on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning.
All right, quickly, let's move on to the Guardian newspaper this morning. The Guardian newspaper still talks about what happened yesterday. The subtitle is Football Foul Play. Nigeria CAF go head-to-head over Super Eagles ordeal in Libya. That's on page 6, and you can see pictures of the Super Eagles and all that. And just like I rightly said, let's try as possible to protect football. It is somehow our haven. Moving on, we have how Nigeria and others can reduce $4 billion regional cybercrime losses. Below that, we have Edo. PDP files petition against result, trades words with APC over IREF manipulation. I guess this election tribunal is not going away. PDP are still, trying as much as possible to fight hard to see what can happen. Beside that, we have the picture of President Tinubu himself. It says why Tinubu's economic reforms should last 15 more years by World Bank. Now, we have World Bank telling us how President Tinubu's reforms will last 15 years and more. Yeah, well, you can get that read. I think it's on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. You can find out why the World Bank said so. All right, we have states in darkness as national grid collapse again. That's on Panorama page 2. The phone lines are also open. Call us, tell us what's happening in your area. Are you having a blackout in your area? Has power been restored? Let's know what's happening in your area. We have custom extends deadline for private aircraft import duty verification. That's on news page 7. We have 2 more stories to go. I like this one. Robotics make up beekeeping. Others make up new basic school curriculum. Robotics. I think we're advancing. If robotics, even AI should be included in our curriculum, because there are a lot of things in our curriculum that we don't even use to get. Shorthand.
They're slowly integrating it. The educational system has evolved from what it used to be.
Yes.
Remember then when you used to have typewriters, business studies in junior secondary school.
Intro
that
technology.
Was where you do the ASDS and FKG, all those things. But it's evolving. Technology is taking over.
Yes.
We are learning these things via other means, and it's just fantastic, I must say.
Yes, I like that. Now, we have the last one here. It says Nigeria's crude production dropped to 1.32 million barrels per day in September, says OPEC. That's on news page 4. And that's all we have coming from the Guardian newspaper this morning.
Very quickly, we take a look at the Vanguard newspaper. Do not forget you can be a part of the conversation. You want to contribute to any of the stories on the national dailies, or you like to bring us up to speed with anything at all. 0812-182-0154 is the number to call. Now, the Vanguard newspaper also has the major read with the feisty issue between Libya and Nigeria. Cup of Nations qualifier, how Libya held Eagles hostage in disused airport for 15 hours. We saw pictures of them laying on the chair. It wasn't pleasant at all.
The almighty Super Eagles.
It wasn't pleasant. There are a lot of writers to that story. They have lamented their ordeal, how there was no food, no water, no way to charge their phones, and they waited for over 16 hours. There was no internet. How else do you hold someone hostage if not by all those things? They have touched down at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport yesterday at about 6 p.m. So the federal government has summoned Libyan charged affairs in Abuja. President Tinubu has demanded swift justice and welcome safe return of Super Eagles. Pages 8 and 9, Vanguard newspaper has the read. Above the masthead, darkness looms as national grid collapses 6th time this year. I was even saying 4th or 5th.
Yeah, I knew it was more than that.
6th time this year. We're in October. 10, this is the 10th month.
2 more months to go, so maybe we might have another one.
6 times this year. I think this is the most frequent
this
year.
Yes,
We've seen the national grid collapsing a lot more than ever. But it's on page 37. You can get the full read. PDP crisis deepens as Damagum-led NWC invites security agencies. Page 5 has the story. Edo poll, PDP files petition at election tribunal as Odubu heads APC transition committee. Page 10. Nigeria super rich to pay 25% tax.
Super rich.
That's from the federal government. Super rich. Get details on page 21. So if you're already earning about 100 million and above, you are super rich. So get ready for 25% taxation. Moving on to Ogun State, Governor Abiodun approved 77,000 naira minimum wage for Ogun workers. That should not be debatable. That's what has been signed into law, by the way. It's on page 14 of the Vanguard newspaper. Arrest warrant. You must honor invitations from Senate. Presidency tells HOSF and heads of ministries, departments, and agencies. Get the story on page 32. Moving on from that, federal government plans to revamp petrol pipeline distribution systems. That's coming from Local Bori. Page 37 has the detail. And lastly, on page 16, we see the story, Maiduguri Airport to start international operations in January. That's coming from Festus Kiyamo. It just reminds me of when they were talking about the Port Harcourt refinery kicking off. And this is the 10th month already, and we've not seen anything yet. So if they say Maiduguri Airport to start international operations in January, I'm just concerned about security, though. We know that Borno, Maiduguri is like, honestly, insecurity, it's a big deal in that state. So if you're going to start international operations, it means that you need to be ready to jack up your security to a very, very high level.
Well, let's see how that pans out. But like I would differ when you said whether it's possible. I think it's even easier to build airports these days than build a refinery. I don't know why.
I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that they said January. We hope it comes through January. And if it's going to come through January, we hope they put in all the safety and security measures. Because if people are going to be flying from outside the country. And they can land in Maiduguri and kick off from Maiduguri, it needs to be, I need to know that I'm going to be safe. My plane is not going to be hijacked. I'm not going to be kidnapped on the road to the airport. You know, all of these things, considering that the insecurity is everywhere, but there's some places that you know that the insecurity situation, when people hear Maiduguri, when people hear Borno, they flee.
Yes.
So, and then what is the bane, what is the yardstick for choosing Maiduguri to begin international operations? These are all the questions we need to ask. But that's it on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, the last newspaper is the Daily Trust newspaper. A very quite interesting story here. 15-year-old student sues Education Ministry, JAMB, NUC over admission policy. We have two writers to that story. It says 18-year admission threshold discriminatory. We are not aware of case yet. This is coming from the ministry. Now, I don't know whether we've actually gone back to do some research about few geniuses we've had in our time. They started at a very early age. So with this JAMB policy, it will actually encourage the Japa syndrome. If I have a child who is 15, very brilliant, probably finished secondary school around 12 or something, why won't I just fly out to MIT or Harvard or somewhere better?
You are the super rich, because even to fly, it's easier for those that have the resources.
But countries are going after, sorry to say, countries are going after geniuses. Why do you think America, they are recruiting people from Nigeria?
I'm not saying they are not, but at the same time, it's not that easy to just leave the country and say you want to Japan.
True.
It's a lot of money. If you do not have the resources, you know, except you are getting a fully funded scholarship that includes your flight tickets, accommodation, giving you stipends while you're schooling. But if you want to just say, oh, because it's not that easy to leave the country. You're looking at a lot of millions of naira.
Yes.
And then you eventually, if you're not on scholarship, you'll be paying in their currency.
Yes.
With the fluctuation of the naira to the dollar. So that's it.
Well, all right, let's move on. We have Nigeria boycotts AFCON qualifier after Libya ordeal. Well, a lot of repercussions coming in from the ordeal of yesterday. We have over 2 million people displaced as 200 Kogi communities flooded. Is coming from the government, and we still have the dam that is still the flood, the intended flood, the threats that have been made about the flood that is coming. Well, we hope that the federal government are up to their task, and they will be able to make sure that preemptive measures are made. And lastly, we have this one: PDP governors meeting on Damagun's faith deadlock. You know, I hope with everything that is going on, PDP, the People's Democratic Party, that they will be able, if there's going to be anything like a merger that we've heard, they have to be able to also solve their crisis, because I don't think any other political party will want to come into all that crisis. But I think that's all we have right now coming from the Daily Trust newspaper. So we'll go on a short break now, and when we come back, we'll bring in our guests. So please stay tuned.
As a child, what is most important to you is love, warmth, acceptance, and security. But as you grow, there is a paradigm shift in the way you approach life. The interest you lose in some things, you pick in other things. Sometimes, the road is smooth. Other times, it is rough. Every step of the way comes with a new hurdle to scale. You win some, you lose some. You laugh hard, you cry hard, but at the end, you look back with a fulfilling smile and say, "What a ride." High Impact Television equips you with what you need every step of the way.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity, let's help you take it high.
And out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios, the future.
High Impact Radio, 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Welcome back. It's still the newspaper review on the Breakfast Cafe. Yes, you can also join in. The number will be displayed on your screen. We're also streaming on YouTube and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at High Impact Studios. Let's have our guest. Our guest joins us virtually. He is Dr. Adedayo Kayode, a social political technocrat. Good morning. It's always refreshing to have you on the show.
Yes, good morning. It's always refreshing to be with you guys Tuesday morning. But Sarah, that guy that came to adjust your earpiece there, don't let him always be coming out. You will be thinking that we are well fed in Nigeria. Those guys looking too well fed.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Ebin power in Nigeria, Ebin power. Let the world know. But when you are showcasing, people will think that we are lying.
Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Yes,
you know, it's a beautiful new day, and so many things to talk about. But first off, let's kick off with this conversation around the People's Democratic Party. You know, there's been some sort of internal crisis, Damagum-led and all of that. And this morning we have it on the papers that PDP factional chairman clash as governors fail to resolve crisis, just as Damagum's camp threatens to arrest Mohammed-led National ESCO. This has been going on for a while now, and it seems like it's not making headway. Let's have your perspective on this and the way to go out of the situation.
Yes, thank you for bringing in that issue of the PDP this morning. And I want the whole world to know that there is no organization, even in the family, that doesn't have squabbles one time or the other. But how you are able to resolve those squabbles and lessons that you can learn from that in moving forward is what makes an organization. That is one. Two, there is no organization again that doesn't have rules of engagement. Rules of engagement. Even in the family, either written or unwritten, there are ways and manners in which each and everybody is meant to relate with each other. What happened? The former chairman, the substantive chairman, Ayu, Senator Ayu, resigned. And there is no organization that can have leadership vacuum. And to that extent, Damagu was brought in based on being the national vice chairman from that zone to come in. However, along the line, we all are witnesses to all that Damagu had been doing. He was supposed to have called for a NEC meeting towards having a substantive chairman from that zone that Senator Ayu is from. But along the line, he had been throttling it. And the leadership, leaders and elders, the founders of the party, and I said, listen, we cannot be a credible opposition without doing things right within our organization, within our party. So, whoever is being seen as an encumbrance towards maintaining the value and integrity of the party has to give way. Has to give way. Hence, the suspension, underline it, the suspension, which is also normal, of Damagu. And here we are today with 9 of the 13 governors of PDP supporting that act of suspension of Damagu towards moving forward of the party.
You know, we know that this internal crisis has been on since like 2022, and you know, a federal high court sitting in Abuja further restrained the NEC, which is the highest decision-making organ of the party, as well as the Board of Trustees, from removing Damagum as the acting national chairman. Let us get your, but before we get into that, let's quickly take this call. Thank you for calling. Yopam from Benue State. Thank you for calling.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you. Thank you for calling.
I don't know if you can hear me, but my name is Yopam. I'm calling from Benue State.
Thank you for calling. We can hear you. Please go on.
Okay, like the man rightly observed, the former chairman of the PDP, Ayu, was from Benue State, and after he left office, the chairmanship is supposed to have returned to Benue State. But because Oga Wike and his friend returned from Benue State, they are bent on causing chaos in the party. They just want to destroy the party. This is between Utom and his friend Wike. they are the ones in charge of the party and they don't want anything better to happen. Like, for example, here in Benin State, told me a friend that maybe the present governor, who is the Reverend Father, because of their issues with the national, the SDF, who is also the leader of the party in the APC in the North Central. He is feeling like because of their issues in the APC and because of the present governor is patronizing with the former governor, if allows the party to be in Benue State, the governor may likely come back to PDP and join Suswa, and he does not want that to happen. And then at the national level, we here in Benue State, we just believe that Wike is causing trouble so that during the next general election, PDP will not be able to stand and the APC will not have any strong opposition. They are just trying to destroy the party so that in the next general election, APC will not have any strong opposition.
Right.
So the problem of PDP is Wike and his friend Otom.
Thank you, Yopam. Thank you for calling and for sharing your thoughts with us.
They're just acting the script of Wike and his friend Otom.
Thank you, Yopam. We appreciate your comment. Dr. Kayode, I don't know if you heard everything that Yopam said.
Yes.
Do you want to react to
Yes,
that?
Yes, he has said it, and that's the truth. Because you were trying to talk about the beginning of this power struggle in PDP, and you were taking it back to 2022.
Yeah.
When Alhaji Atiku Abubakar became the candidate of the party, and we all saw the activities of Wike then. How he did not work for the party, rather working for an opposition party. All right? And to that extent, he has been using his money. Only God knows where he got the money to be causing series of problems in PDP. Whatever Damagu is doing, it's not his own thinking. He's just acting a script that had been given to him. And it's unfortunate. At the time that he was nominated to that position, people did not see him coming from this angle. But thank God that early enough, PDP leadership had seen him. And they are now saying, listen, what Nigerians are experiencing is not good enough. It's not normal. Ebi power, people are hungry. We are not living like human beings. We are just like a tree planted inside the river and still looking for water to survive. Is that normal? No. And as a credible opposition, the biggest party in Africa, the leadership is now saying, listen, we got to go back to our value system. We got to bring up again our integrity. Damagu, we are not removing you, but we have the powers to suspend you. You have to underline that word. The Federal High Court you were quoting, did not rule that Damagu cannot be suspended.
Yeah, they talked about removing.
Look at labor law. In labor law, your organization, if it's going to fire anybody, has rules of engagement before anybody can be fired. But he has the powers to say, okay, because we want to do one kind of investigation upon a staff or the other, you can be suspended. So it's on that suspension that Damagu stands, and it remains so.
Thank you, Dr. Adedayo Kayode. And I want us to look at this Wike situation. And I really like to ask, because I've pondered about it, what leverage is Wike actually holding on the PDP that he has become some sort of like untouchable? Does he have, is it the largest shareholder in the People's Democratic Party? Why is it that anytime the Wike mantra comes up, the Wike issue comes up, the PDP, they like to just, tread on light waters?
Yeah, don't ever say that Wike has a hold on PDP or that he is untouchable. It is only that the leadership of PDP believes that in politics, there is no Baraisong, Baraiwalowa. That is, there is no go away. Come here is what we have in politics. And to that extent, they have been dealing with Wike with all utmost wisdom. With all utmost wisdom. Because again, they are aware that Wike is not alone. Wike is not alone. When you see that fly dancing on top of water, it's not just dancing. There is somebody underneath the water beating the drum for that particular fly to be dancing on top of water. That is to say, there is another fifth columnist behind Wike's activities right from the onset. And that is part of politics. In terms of scheming.
Who's the fifth columnist?
A particular party knows that PDP is out to survey the people from the excruciating pains they are being subjected to presently. And they now look at Wike as an instrument that can be used to cause a destabilization within the party. And if such a thing is not handled with care and wisdom, you're going to be seeing court cases upon court cases that will now distract PDP in organizing itself towards delivering people from this particular Pharaoh-like government.
Who are these
that
people?
We are experiencing.
So, Dr. Kayode, are you saying, or are you insinuating that this is an intentional strategy targeted at the PDP to distract them?
Exactly. Thank you for saying that, Sarah. Thank you for that. That is it. That is just it. Nothing more.
And who are these people? You said they are some set. Do you know them?
It is nothing other than APC.
Do you have confirmed evidence?
Strong allegation, Dr. Kayode.
You can see Wike in their government. You can see Wike always talking that, yes, Tinubu is going to come back and win the election in 2027. And that he is even going to work for him towards coming back. How can you be in PDP and then be working for APC? It's not, is it normal? It is nothing other than political rascality and political abnormality.
So are we looking at the possibility of a defection of Wike from the People's Democratic Party?
That's what PDP leadership are telling him. Go to APC that you are working with and leave PDP to solve its own internal issues.
All right,
and I'm sure in the coming days, by the time all these things are resolved, definitely he will know where it belongs. Thank God for what even Fubara has done for him in his home state.
All right, Dr. Kayode, I would like to, Dr. Adida Kayode, I would like to shift your attention to what happened in Libya, what the ordeal the Super Eagles went through. So, how would you respond to what happened in Libya, and what do you think the federal government, how do you think they should respond? Should they do fire for fire, or should they tread softly?
You see, these are part of the things we have been talking. When you don't have a responsive government, when you don't have a government that places high value on its people, there is no way you'll be respected all over the world. Because it is the name that you call your child that outsiders will call that a child. Imagine a whole Nigeria, giant of Africa, a country that is the most populous nation in the black race, being treated that way. It's not their fault. It isn't. It is because this day we don't have any respect again outside the world. Listen, can you also remember what happened to us in the United Nations? As regards the recent voting, whereby Nigeria scored how many votes? Less than 10 votes. And Benin Republic and other smaller countries in Africa were scoring 50, 100, being nominated against Nigeria. Is that a good thing? We have lost value. We have lost integrity. And how? How? The aggregate integrity and value of a people is what defines, the integrity and value of the leadership of any organization defines the aggregate integrity and value people will accord to that particular population. Go travel out and see the way you be treated because of your green passport. Then you will know that because of the kind of leadership we are having, we have lost it. Zero integrity, zero value. We don't even have respect for rule of law. So where do you think we'll be placed? How do you think we'll be treated?
Okay, now
let the federal government keep on shouting there. CAF will do what is going to do. Was CAF not called? NFF called CAF. What was CAF supposed to do? But CAF already knows that, yes, Nigeria is a country where people always back without any iota of strength to buy it.
But Dr. Adedayo Kayode, according to reports, the Libyans also accused Nigerians of doing the same when they were in Nigeria. How would you respond to that?
What did they do? What did they do? Even at the time they went to Port Harcourt to land, because they opted to land in Port Harcourt, according to the report I read, NFF was still there. NFF was still there to welcome them. NFF was still there to provide them a comfortable transportation system. Unlike what happened to us in Benghazi. We are supposed to land in Benghazi. But while the pilot was approaching landing, he was diverted. Why was he even diverted at that last minute? And where he now landed, tell me what provisions were there for us? Nothing. For hours. Later they now brought one 2K bus has been showcased by one of the players.
So, Dr. Kayode, how exactly would you say, in less than 1 minute, how exactly would you say we need to respond to this? Because the Super Eagles have withdrawn from the qualifiers over this incident. There's been some sort of conversation between CAF, Nigeria, and Libya. How exactly would you expect us to react to this in less than 1 minute?
Well, how are we going to react? Other than the way we have been reacting to issues in our nation. People are saying they are hungry. People are saying you should protect your currency. People are saying the petroleum price you are giving us, PMS price you are giving us is fake. It's not normal. And they are not responding. So how do you think they will also respond to this? Is the federal government valuing our relationship with other countries? No. So for me, I cannot even see them. I cannot even see federal government reacting the way they are supposed to react. Yes, the ambassador to that nation have been summoned yesterday. Have we had anything? Have we had anything contrary to what our players have been saying? They also have been telling lies, and they know. I mean, I don't know whether you were privy to the response of the Libya Football Federation.
Yeah.
When I read that one, I could see a lot of lies there. A lot of lies.
But he has reportedly resigned over this issue.
That's the coach. That's their NFL. There's another, maybe their minister or whatever, that responded yesterday. I was able to read that report on the social media.
Right.
And when I read that report, it was too watery.
Right.
But as federal government be able to lay some facts and figures on that particular response, to what extent is our Nigerian government relating with CAF president?
Right.
So these are issues.
These are issues that need to be addressed.
Let me also appreciate Amadu Pinnick for what he has been doing as regarding, because I've been reading the ways Amadu Pinnick have been handling this. But the question is, do we have that respect in Africa?
That's a
for us to be able to get
question.
justice?
That's a $1 billion
when they know
question.
that we
Right.
are a country
Right.
that doesn't respect rule of law.
Dr. Kayode, we have to wrap up the conversation now because we've run out of time, but I'm sure that we will definitely see how the story unfolds. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Sarah, let us borrow time.
We'll borrow time one of these days. Thank you so much. It's been a delight.
It's my pleasure being with you this morning. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And
Thank
you
you.
too. Thank you. Right, we just had a conversation with Dr. Adedayo Kayode. He's a socio-political technocrat, and he gave his perspective on the internal crisis within the PDP and the inhumane treatment reportedly meted out on Super Eagles of Nigeria by Libyans. And that's where we wrap up the conversation on the newspaper review segment this morning. We'll take a break. When we're back, we delve straight into the second half, kicking off with our views from the net. To stay with us.
Abrogate. Abrogate. Abrogate.
Welcome back. This is still the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television, and this is Views from the Net. We put out a question a day before and we get your opinion. You can also join the conversation by calling our phone line. You can also join us on YouTube and on X at High Impact Studios. So the question for today is, in this economic state, that we are in, this, I will not call it hardship again, I'll remove that word. But in this economic state that we are, would you rather have a successful business or a high-paying job? It's quite a tricky one here, looking at how things are, looking at what entrepreneurs go through and the sleepless nights and all that, and just have, there's nothing like just knowing that, you know, at all, like Nigerians, at all, nothing beats you just having or getting salary at the end of the month.
I think the options are not complete.
Okay.
Would you rather have a successful paying business,
Or
a successful business, or a high paying job, or a mioga? That option
What's
was
a mioga?
omitted. Producer, you should have added that
I
option.
count that as laziness to me.
Producer, you should have added that option.
That's
Of
laziness.
Emioga, Mother Oga's wife.
The only Emi or God I recognize are probably the children. That's the
Anyways,
Emi Oga.
let us know your thoughts on this. Would you rather have a successful business or a high-paying job? 0812-182-0155 is number. If you ask me, I'll say both. Nobody says you can't have both. Yes, I want to be an Oliver Twist. I would rather have both. I'd rather have a successful business that is booming and thriving, and at the same time, I have a high-paying job. There's no harm in that, you know. You get it from here, you get it from
That
here.
seems like a lot of stress.
So the fact that you're having a business doesn't mean that you have to be the face of that business.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that you have to be the forerunner of that business. In
Okay.
quote. You can be you are the founder, quote unquote, but people are managing it for you.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you get your proceeds, you pay your managers and all of that. It is your business. You have time to focus on your job, which is what you are being paid to do. Maybe your career.
You're looking at it from the angle of an investor.
No, I'm looking at it from the angle of a business owner. So take, for example, I want to open a big supermarket,
Okay.
right? I open the supermarket, I stock it up, it's a supermarket, a provision store, what have you. It doesn't mean that I have to sit down there to run it.
Of course not.
I will put people in charge. They are running it. They give me report. It is my business. Do I have to be there physically every time? No.
No.
Am I still running my career, my job? Yes. Am I still getting paid my salary? Yes. But I'm getting money from a business that nobody even really needs to know that I'm the owner,
Okay.
because there are people managing it for me. It's different when you're investing. That's another aspect of having extra funds. Investment is different. It's also something. So for me, I would say both. I wouldn't stick to one.
Well, the reason why I said so, in this economy that we know that things are unstable,
That's why you even need to have both.
you will be getting calls, you'll be getting so many things. In this economy that, okay,
Calls
now
that
you want to
what?
stock different calls. Oh, the so thing has happened, this has happened, and you have to solve the problem. As the owner, you have to solve the problem. You have to be a problem solver, not just the owner of the business.
You are getting me. There are so many businesses. Fine, you are the owner. You
Okay.
will solve the problem. But you know the role of a manager.
Okay, so you don't want to even be making decisions at all.
I don't know how to explain it to you. You are there. You are there.
Yours is just to
But you
collect
have,
money.
no, yours is not just to collect money.
Okay.
You are the owner of the business.
Yes.
There are certain decisions that you have to be the one
Definitely.
to take. There are some that you believe your managers can handle it, right? It's a give, how do I put it? It's a win-win situation. You are seeing it from the perspective of, oh, they always need you. Of course, they would need you, but it's not always. Especially when you have trained or you put people that you can trust, that they can handle it. You put professionals in that field. You can just take a step back and focus on your career.
Let's take a cue from Dangote. He was asked about the refinery. He said if given another chance, he would not do it again.
That is Dangote.
That is one of the richest man in the country.
Is that the only
Look at his grey
business?
hair.
Is that the only business Dangote is doing? No.
Well.
I think that you're seeing it from a very, what's the word? You're seeing it from the surface level. If you actually think about it, you would see it doesn't even have to be a very big business. People are running businesses and you don't know that they're running businesses and they're combining it with their career. Especially in this economy, you want to sit down and be waiting on your salary. Even those that are taking those that have very high paying jobs, have something else on the side that they're doing just to, don't put all your eggs in one basket like this. But let us know your thoughts. Let's quickly take this comment. Uzziah from Ogun State. We have to move very swiftly. He says, to me personally, I would rather go for a business than having a high-paying job, provided I have the startup capital. A good business will earn you more money and is more sustainable than a high-paying job. Thank you so much, Uzziah.
All right, let's take the next one. This one says, in this current economic state, I would lean towards having a successful business. The reason is that entrepreneurship offers the potential for greater financial independence and the ability to innovate, adapt to changing market conditions. While a high-paying job provides stability, a successful business can create opportunities for growth and resilience in uncertain times. This is Queen from Great Yabatech.
Right. Thank you for that. Let's take Kayode from Egbeda. Kayode says, I'd prefer a high-paying job because it offers immediate financial security and benefits like health insurance that can be crucial during economic downturns. This is Kayode from Egbeda. Kayode is from another perspective. A high-paying job provides financial security. So, but as Kayode also talked about the fact that it can be taken away anytime. Like, I know that you have contracts, you sign agreement and all of that. You can't just be let go and all of that. But there's things that happen, and what if you don't have that high-paying job anymore? What if they just wake up one day and say, you know what, everybody in 1 month, I'm selling this business, so I'm not doing this again, everybody should go.
Now, having a high-paying job could come in different ways. You could be a freelancer, you could be contracting, so it doesn't have to mean that you actually you are subjected to someone or authority. They could just contract you for a business. You could be doing remote jobs. You could be you could be earning in dollars.
At the same time,
I'm looking at it from that angle.
I'll always advise people, as much as you have a high-paying job, always have something else on the side that fetches you income, where you don't even have to be physically present for money to come to you. Let your money work for you. Take it, like, you understand what I'm saying, anyways. But let's move on. All right, okay. Yeah. This next one says, for me, a successful business is the way to go. It allows for more creativity and control over my work-life balance, which is important to me. Kayode from Egbeda. I think they mixed up the name because we took Kayode from Egbeda earlier, so I think there's an omission there. But let's take Ganyu from Ijegun. Ganyu says, honestly, I think a high-paying job is less risky. With the economy being so unpredictable, a steady paycheck feels safer. These days, even those that own a business are complaining. Have you gone to the market to see how expensive things are? It is. Well, of course, we get you, Ganyu. Business owners are lamenting owing to the cost of everything. But at the same time, have a backup. It's good to have a backup, but I was even going to ask, how many successful businesses do we have? A lot. In this country? A lot, yes. A lot. Okay. I stand to be corrected, but I know that there's a lot. Yes. So you see, sometimes here, we don't look beyond our nose. But what made me realize this was during COVID. A lot of people were complaining about it stifled a lot of things. But guess what? That was the period where a lot of people actually earned money. That was the period where a lot of people were able to come up with more business ideas. So, as I always say something, if you're going to go into a business, go into something that everybody needs. That you solution provider. Always need. You might say, oh, well, it's been infiltrated, there's an influx of people, it's a saturated market. Find something that makes yours stand out. Carve a niche for yourself, right? Just like I know of a particular person that wanted to go into the business of fitness, exercise, and it felt like it was a saturated market. But this person decided to carve a niche and focus on the elderly. Because most of these fitness, exercise, what have you, they're usually for the millennials, Gen Z, focusing on them. And the person created something specially for those that are old, the aged people and all of the aged people and all of that. And trust me, the person is doing so well. So sometimes you just feel like it's not going to work out. It will work out. They're successful businesses, fine. It will be challenging. It's not like these successful businesses do not have their downtimes, or they still do not have their downtimes, but they always find a way to start through. Well, let's move on to the next one. This one says, I would choose a successful business because it can lead to financial freedom in the long run. Plus, I love the idea of building something
from the scratch. You can make your own money and don't necessarily need to wake up very early in the morning looking for bus by the bus stop when others are sleeping. Business is sweet, but it has its bad side though. This is John from Aja.
Very true. Let's quickly take Razak from Mushi. Razak says, a high-paying job is appealing because of the stability and ability to save for the future. I'm not ready to take on the risk of a business. Thank you so much, Razak. Thank you for your comment. All
right, this one says, for me, a successful business is ideal. It gives me the chance to pursue my passions and create my own opportunities, even in tough times. Chidima from Jos.
A lot of people are choosing successful business. It's beautiful to see.
Emphasis on the successful.
Yeah, yeah. But let's take Bolaji from Yabatek. Bolaji says, I believe having a successful business is more fulfilling. It's exciting to see your ideas come to life and potentially make a bigger impact. To own a business is very interesting and sweet, but that's if you have the run to run it very well, or I think if you have the knowledge to run it very well. The economic situation has affected a lot of things, and it's so sad that many businesses are folding up. It's true.
Brought me back to the question, how many successful businesses
do
we have?
Successful businesses.
All right, moving on. This one says, I'd rather have a high-paying job. It provides a clear path for advancement and financial growth without the stress of running a business. Grace from Lagos.
All right, Modupe from Lagos says, I prefer a high-paying job because it generally comes with more job security and benefits, which are essential in an unstable economy. Right, thank you, Modupe.
I think that, the variant is having a successful job in an unstable economy. People are looking at the economy itself. That's why they are picking, it's a more paid job. Now, this next one says, I would choose a successful business, and I think it's a great way to adapt to economic changes and find new opportunities that a job might not offer. Uduak from Benin.
Right. Let's quickly take Cynthia from Unilag. One perspective to consider is the impact of personal fulfillment and job satisfaction. For many, the joy of pursuing a passion through entrepreneurship can outweigh the financial stability of a high-paying job. Entrepreneurs often experience a sense of purpose and engagement that can lead to overall happiness, even if their income fluctuates. Thank you so much, Cynthia from Unilag.
This one says, successful business all day, so I can make money as I want it, I beg. No be when I cross 7 seas for one person, he go can't give me 35K a month. Norris from Delta. Norris is cracking me up. I think that's all we have. But in all, if you can have both, it's quite good. But you just have to be able to create time for both. If you have a good paying job and you have a successful business, you have to be able to balance the two. Just like you rightly said, you don't need to be there when your business is, you don't have to necessarily be there to make a business move. We have Kemi from Lagos. Kemi, good morning. Let's have your contribution quickly.
Okay, so in my opinion, I will not choose any of
Kemi, we cannot hear you. Unfortunately, we cannot hear you, Kemi. If you can do well to call us back, 0812-182-0154. We cannot pick what you're saying. But I think the first thing she said was she's not going to pick any of the two.
Any of them. So I'm wondering what she's going to pick.
We lost what she was saying.
I think she's tilting for Emioga.
Yeah, well.
What's the benefit of being Emioga?
You will not know because you cannot relate.
No, I mean, if you look at it, being a house, Emioga is more or less a housewife.
Anyways, you were about going on a break.
Yes. All right, let's go on a short break. And when we come back, we'll continue with the next segment. Stay tuned.
The future is now. Yes, I said it. Is there really a future? Or is it just a facade of hope created to make you less docile? What if what you call the future is every time you're alive the next second, every time you impact someone to live somewhere? What if the future is not so far a projection as you've always thought? What if the future is a developing script of your life and you are the living proof? What if the future is this very moment and you are living in it? The uncertainty of the future bedevils your very existence. Yet every day you wake up, shake up, and make up. Time is not on your side, except the wristwatch on your wrist by the side. Yet you stall and stand tall, knowing that to see the future, you must stay alive. No one dictates the future better than you. The future is yours to determine. Call the shots.
Something big is in town. Something powerful and majestic. A mammoth creation destined to become a legend by all who encounter it. High Impact Planet, Nigeria's biggest family theme park, with facilities designed for friends, families, or large groups under a relaxing atmosphere. Be welcomed by wowing displays of animatronics, thrill out with realistic arcade games, or enjoy a number of thrilling heart-racing park rides. Experience the 5D and 12D cinemas, and challenge your mates with bumper cars and go-kart races. Don't forget to slide into the ice rink, or simply take time out to enjoy a pizza at our delightful restaurant and dessert spot, or at the exquisite club lounge. High Impact Planet, 12 Lagos Ibadan Expressway, Ibafo, opposite MFM Prayer City. Visit high-impactplanet.com for details and inquiries. Fun just got real. Find your limits. Go go-karting. High Impact Planet. Fun just got real.
Radio 102.1 FM. The future is now.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Cafe on High Impact Television. Olumide and I are still here, and we're moving into another segment where we have a very insightful conversation. This morning, we're talking about hardship, connecting it with human rights as well as economic development. And you ask yourself, what does this even mean? Now, hardship is often at the intersection of human rights and economic development, shaping the lives of individuals and communities worldwide. When the economic opportunities are limited, people face challenges assessing basic rights such as education, healthcare, and safe working conditions. Inequality and poverty often exacerbate these hardships, leaving marginalized groups, especially the vulnerable. Now, economic hardship can also fuel social unrest, migration, and conflict, highlighting the complex link between the denial of rights and economic deprivation. Now, joining us to have this conversation this morning is Omoba Adefunke Jayesimi. She's a communication expert. Thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you live with us in the studio.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Right.
Good morning to you again.
Good morning. It's a pleasure. You know, this morning we're talking about something, hardship, connecting it to human rights and economic development. And just for better understanding, some people might say, oh, how does hardship relate to human rights? How does the hardship relate to economic development? Just give us a brief understanding of the connection between these two.
Okay, so let me start from hardship itself. Hardship itself is relative because your definition of good might not be my definition of good.
Yeah.
And when we speak about human rights and what's the other thing?
Economic development.
Economic development. I think that as citizens of any place you find yourself, you have a right to a good space.
Mm-hmm.
I said good space because I don't want to define it the way you might want to have it because, like I said earlier, everything is relative. Hardship, human rights. The truth is, you have a right to life, but you don't have a right to how life treats you. Yeah, you don't have a right to how life treats you. You only have a right to reshape what life brings to you. So when you talk about human rights, you can go to your constitution, what your government says is yours, what you think is yours. But at the end of the day, you are the architect of your own life, and
right.
You actually define whether it's your right to excel in Nigeria, excel outside Nigeria, or just be there waiting to justify human rights.
Right. You know, there are so many rights that before now, they used to be quite accessible to Nigerians, and even our leaders, those that are still here and those that have left, benefited from some of this rights. Access to free education, free water, health care, and what have you. Now, but with the current economic situation, how do you think this current economic hardship has directly impacted the realization of basic human rights, such as access to education, health care, housing, to mention a few?
Okay, I think that we should first understand that life itself is a journey. Our opportunity to be citizens of this country, yes, we don't have a right to it, maybe by birth or by migration or something, but it's a journey. We didn't get here now. Things didn't happen overnight. Yes, there's hardship in the land. As a matter of fact, you can't even say that you are not seeing what's happening in Nigeria, no matter how wealthy you think you are or how good, how well things are going for you. But the reality is we need to look at how we got here. What was the population at the time you were talking about? What was the representation like? What authorities do people have at the time? At the time you were talking, we had government of various arms, but it wasn't really like what it is now. We had a leadership style that empowers both political and traditional. So as a matter of fact, within your constituency, beyond who is representing you, there are local people that you have direct access to that know everybody within their terrain that they can talk about. I can go to a LG school in Shagamu, and I mean the principal can know me to my family. There are access to things that we could benefit from because we could control the population and we have access to everybody at the time. The population is increasing. Things can never be the way it was in the past. We can only have a better life. We can only hope that things get better. But trust me, it can never be what it used to be.
Right.
Education is not cheap. Let me go there. Education is not cheap. Education did not start deteriorating yesterday. you and I directly or indirectly influenced that. I'm an 80s child, and I remember back then Montessori schools were a thing. Like, you needed a proper structure to own a Montessori school. But now anybody can rent a 3-bedroom flat and start a school. And every of your ed teachers back then had a private school in their family house. We were all applauding it. Nobody wanted to go to federal government, nursery and primary school anymore. Everybody wanted to identify with what school does your child go to. Everybody wanted to wear a different uniform on Monday, Tuesday. So we sort of empowered it. And this is our reality now. You can't scrap it. What we can do is better regulations for this thing. You talk about healthcare. Talking about healthcare, maybe growing up, I grew up in Surulere, Randu precisely. I know that I have direct access to the general hospital at the time. At the time, the population then wasn't even what it is now. I would go to Randu. I remember having an accident as a child. I think I broke my hand at 5. We were done in about 1 hour. But now the population is high. When you talk about population, the population you will see in Randu is different from what you will see in the village health center in my village in LA in Ogun State. So when you want to justify what is right or wrong, we need to look at the space, how we got there, and what we can do differently. So let's define it first. What are we justifying? Healthcare in my village, healthcare in a populated state.
All right, so in response to this now, how can the federal government, how can civil organizations or private organizations, how can they balance, economic growth? Or what are the effective ways they can use to apply to balance economic growth side by side with the protection of human rights?
I'm still trying to separate this conversation from human rights, because violation of human rights is not really what is affecting our economy. As much as people will say things are going this way, there are a lot of people that are celebrating wins too. So for me, I think that the economic reforms that are currently going on are taking a huge toll on the citizens, and that's the fact. But we know what it is. It's easier for anybody to sit down and say something. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, when he led the protest against Goodluck Jonathan's administration back then, might have thought that, oh, this guy doesn't know anything. I will do this when I get there. It's easy for you to have a full-time job as an opposition until you get into that space. So for me, I'm not a person that, I'm not one to justify what should be from what the government is doing. You would always make ends meet if you want to achieve something. I mean, people travel out of Nigeria to do all sorts just to live. What we have here is systems problem. Once that system problem is solved, there will be a lot of reforms, both in economic, in healthcare, education, and all. It's a people problem. We are Nigerians, and we are the problem of Nigeria. If we don't resolve, if we don't get better as citizens, I don't think that there's anything that the federal government that can do that will totally eradicate what Nigerians are going through as hardships.
Let me interrupt you for a bit. Now, you said something that the current president protested against the previous president. And I don't recall any form of arrest or any form of charge as treason or what have you at the time. Now, I'm not disputing the fact that there were some places where protests have happened this year where things were vandalized, especially in Kano State. Fast forward to 2024, I'm trying to connect this to human rights. We have a right to protest, to air our voice, in as much as it's peaceful. We saw Nigerians who are hungry and tired of the situation come out to protest. This is something that the current president has done before when he was not in office. To protest, and they were arrested. Peaceful protesters were arrested, and some of them were charged with treason, and we know the penalty for that. Some were slammed humongous fees as bail, which is unrealistic. So that is some sort of infringement on their human right. And this stemmed up from the economic hardship that they are facing. So why do we have such stifling of people's human rights in this current period when back then it was not a problem to protest? Even the president protested.
Okay, so if you talk about protests, let's take it from when it happened then. That protest happened in Lagos State. Goodluck Jonathan was in Abuja. That protest lasted for a few days, had attendance of the high and mighty at the time, and it was peaceful. there was no disruption of life, property, or anything. There was nobody that was forced to do anything. At this time, there's a protest, and you call it peaceful protest, where you are the protest ground.
I would like to also state that I
you
specifically that there were certain locations where it turned violent. But if we're going to bring it to Lagos, the areas that they held in Lagos, because they were confined to certain locations, it was a peaceful protest.
I'm still insisting if you were at the protest.
I wasn't at the protest.
So whoever was arrested, because we have a lot of people at the protest, and we have people still breathing fine.
Yeah.
They were not all arrested. So whoever was arrested must have been arrested for specific reasons.
I beg to differ.
And yeah, it's totally fine. This is journalism, but as much as we want to talk to the people, we have, I'm very, very particular about the authenticity of whatever I want to say here.
Okay.
If people were arrested, if they were supposed, if they feel like their human rights were infringed, there are a lot of human rights lawyers out there. There are people that will even do it pro bono. There are people that were arrested during NSAS, they were released. There are stories that came up, they were debunking.
A lot of them are still in detention.
There are people that were released. That's why I put the specification. There are people that are released. A lot of people are in detention. How many people have gone to these cells to visit those people that are still in detention, to hear their true story, to know what got there and all? That is not what I'm here to discuss this morning. The issue right here is, when you talk about human rights, you have to also be able to educate the people on responsibility of citizenship. You cannot do what you want affecting what I want. And I think that Nigerians need to change the mentality, like, if it is not this way, there's no other way. What makes us humans is our diversity in thoughts, opinions, as much as even ideas, and our choices. So the fact that you feel that, oh, they did something in 2000 and whatever, this happened, the choice of the president at the time, it didn't feel any threat at the time. There were no security challenges as much as what we have at this time. And following what happened during the NSAS issue in Lagos State, there's no government that will sit back and watch citizens destroyed what taxpayers' money has been used for. So it is totally fine to put things in place as much as you respect their rights as
when
citizens.
You say put things in place, was that the approach that they should have taken in putting things in place, even though till now they have debunked the activities that took place that day?
I was going to respond to that actually, because when you said, is that the activity, I was going to tell you that, where are the facts? If the government said this didn't happen, so who am I to come and say that this happened?
So
I wasn't there.
What we saw play out, people were on live. People were live.
Yeah, I joined that live.
People were injured.
Yeah.
We had people share their testimonies after.
People were alleged. Yes, it's journalism.
Okay. How would you respond
I wasn't there.
to the panel that was set up in Lagos and the recommendations they made?
The recommendations they made and the dragging that followed them 2 weeks ago for who collected money and who has not collected money.
And the compensation. That
and the compensation of who spoke for the people and who used the people to get into office. See, citizenship is funny. Human rights is, everything in life is relative. As a matter of fact, whatever you want to define in life is based on your personal experience. There is no justification of any conversation without an iota of bias in it. And that is the truth. Talk about hardship. I will tell you that Nigerians have a lot to deal with. The government has, they were in a time where the government should sit back, relax, and as a matter of fact, readjust even the cost of governance. That is totally understandable. You cannot tell the people to consistently be patient. You cannot tell the people to consistently hope for the renewal of the hope that they've not even seen without you making some adjustments. But while at that, you cannot just come and want to change the narrative of things that has been in place overnight. It's a journey. It's going to take a while. What can we do differently is what we should be asking the government, not going out there looking for a way to just bring down the government at all costs. I was listening, I was watching when you had the other guest on the show talking about what happened with Super Eagles in Libya. And it's so crazy that Nigerians are dealing with so much at the time that we don't even want to be patriotic anymore. I mean, Nigerians just want to hand everything to this government. Oh, they treated us this way because we are not this, we are not that. We never come to talk about Nigerians that are excelling, making the country proud. We never want to talk about people that have become models, even to people that are not Nigerians. We just always want to look for the best time and the best way to maybe to talk about our country in the wrong way. It's not going to yield anything. Positivity, negativity will not yield anything. It's only going to make you either sad or happy. So you define what you want to do.
Right. You know, just as we're preparing to wrap up, what are some of the, or how can we utilize economic development programs better to support marginalized groups who face this economic hardship? I know that everybody's facing it, right? But there are some sectors that call them maybe the vulnerable or the marginalized group or what have you. How can we come up with economic programs that can better support these people?
I don't even think we should even call anybody the vulnerable group at this time. We're all vulnerable as it is right now. We're all going through a lot is going through a lot of people. And the truth is, I would say that...
Let me hold your thought for a bit. We have a call. We have Jide from Ikoyi, if I got that correctly. Thank you.
Morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling.
Yes, this is Jide from Ikoyi.
Thank you, Jide. Please share your thoughts.
Okay, please. Okay. The woman, I think she's not nailing the question, because she said people that are making Nigeria proud. Like, is it the government that, what has the government done for it? Like, what impact has the government taken in order for them to, you know, achieve the success they've achieved so far? I think she's not, you know, there are some things she's not telling us. Maybe she's supporting the government, or I don't understand. Please, we are going through a lot, and the hardship is so big that people cannot even feed themselves this day. So I don't understand what she's doing and trying to cover something. So
thank you, Jide.
All right, thank you for calling. Of course, thank you for calling, Jide. I'm not trying to cover anything up. I am only responding to the questions. And truth is, when questions are set, even in examination, you would only respond based on the knowledge of what you have. I cannot speak for everybody. I can only speak from my perspective. And like I said earlier, no matter what is happening in the country, I am an advocate of rediscovery, self-realization, what you can do for yourself. I'm never a person of things are going down, we're all down. No.
But Jide said something that you talked about Nigerians that are excelling.
He or she decided to pick it from me talking about Nigerians that are excelling. We got there from talking about what happened in Libya and how we are not being patriotic. And I said, if we always have to look for the opportunity to cast this country down, then we are not going to do good for ourselves. What about the people that are making, that's how we got there. I didn't come here to praise the country. And as a matter of fact, a lot of us, maybe the 60s, 70s, 80s generation, cannot even say they did not benefit from the benevolence of these things we have talked about. Things got worse.
Right. You know, earlier, before Jide called, I was asking about economic development programs, and you mentioned that everybody is vulnerable, right?
Yeah, because I really wanted to throw that jota or that note out, that some people are vulnerable, the poorest of the poorest. I don't believe in that. Whatever you're going to give to the people at the point where we are in right now, where we are in Nigeria right now, should be for everybody, initiatives that everybody can benefit from, in incentives, palliatives, and all. But speaking of the economy reforms, the truth is, when you roll out policies to effect change, there's every possibility that it's going to be a guesswork.
Okay.
Because until something is put into work, you don't know the exact result that might come out of it. And that is the reality. Like I said earlier, where I have a problem is when you feel like we're all dealing with this, and you are not in any way adjusting your house to say, okay, we're in this together. That's a big problem. There's a problem. What is the government, what are those in the corridor of power doing to empathize with Nigeria to say, oh, we are in this together? That is where I have a problem. But that policies, policies affecting the people and how we can reach out to everyone, subsidy is gone. We all going to deal with it. Dangote is producing, it's going to be a roller coaster. We are not going to get it straight right now. I'm sure whatever Tinubu was saying pre-election, Even himself right now, if you have access to him, I'm sure he didn't see this coming.
Right.
But regardless, it's going to be a work in progress.
Okay. Now, before we go, maybe in less than a minute or two, I'd like to ask you this question. How can, or do you believe that economic development and human rights policy, or human rights itself, can beat the odds? Now, specifically looking at human rights, I like to quote, this time around, you were talking, when you were referring to Sarah, you were asking her whether she has evidence. So I'm talking from Deji Adeyanju's statement, when he said that, the federal government, they are used to go after protesters, but they have not been able to arrest a former governor who's been Yahaya Bello. Now, he has also talked about end bad governance protesters who have been charged treason. Now, looking at it, charging a protester for treason, that is a capital crime, which we receive the capital punishment. So, do you think that human rights in Nigeria can actually beat the odds? Looking at how the federal government are going after protesters and how they are going about things in Nigeria.
Well, what's the emphasis on going about after protesters?
Yes, because when we talk about protest, a lot of Nigerians are unfavorably disposed to going for protest because they think of, oh, I might be picked up. Parents are telling their children, do not go out for protest.
And those are the parents that have children that they thought would go out. It's funny how young Nigerians feel like everybody thinks the way they think. As a matter of fact, as much as you have the loudest or the noisiest talking about how they just want to change things overnight, there are a larger population that is not as noisy as they are, that still believe in the process of achieving results without being on the streets.
How so?
The streets, what has the streets ever changed? Tell me.
So what are the other channels available to air your views?
Communicate properly. Engage in community development. You have representation at the house. See, pre-election, I used to tell people that if people pay attention to people going to the House of Representatives, the Senate, the State House, the way they pay attention to who become governors and presidents, Nigeria will be a better state. Okay. For me, I would rather hold Lanre Okunola, that's the man representing me in Surulere constituencies too. I would rather attend town hall meetings, engage him, see what he's doing. It is so sad that there are headlines that we pick out there that will naturally make you angry. Okay. Because that is what you're seeing. But if you have people, if you have put people in position that you can question them, you can talk to them, there will be a difference. We talk about the cost of governance. I was talking about it earlier. This present administration has the most, I think this is, let's call it concussion assembly. We have different political parties, people that we never even expected would be opportune. They are all in the house now. But nothing has changed when it comes to the cost of running this government. Because maybe when they get there, or maybe after they swear that oath, there's just something that comes over them. So why are we not talking about these things? We have the most diversified house ever. Why are there no members speaking the heart of the Nigerian people? We are not going to change anything by thinking that me and you standing in Ojota are out there for the same reason. I might go to Ojota with you because I want to make headlines so that they can call me from Abuja for appointments tomorrow. I can use everybody on my streets to call against the government because I need to seek attention. We've seen this happen over and over again. We've seen activists become whatever. We've seen comrades smiling in and out of government offices. So what exactly should we be doing right now? I think it's a personal thing. Identify who your representatives are. Engage them. Let us start investing in calling back these people. If this is not going to come easy, it's not going to happen in 4 years, it's not going to happen in 8 years. But when there's a consistent attempt at making sure things are in place, things will be done differently. You don't have a representative not speaking your heart where they should speak it, and you are here crying about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We know what the payment has been for even allocations going to states and all since this administration started. Nobody wants to hold their government beyond those that want to hold Sanwo-Olu or hold maybe Rivers State, that's another big state, or Delta State. If the 36 states of Nigeria is working the way it should work, if Ogun State is working the way it should work, I mean, if Dapo Abiodun is really blowing my mind, I would have relocated from Lagos back to Shagamu.
Right. You know, that's an entirely large conversation we're getting into, but we cannot continue because we have run out of time. But we would definitely love to have you again, Omoba Adefunke Jayesimi, to have more conversations on this. But it's been a delight. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you
for sharing your thoughts with us. That was a conversation with Omoba Adefunke Jayesimi, talking about the hardship in the country, connecting it to human rights and economic development. We'll take a very quick break now. When we're back, we'll delve into our trending stories. Just stick around.
Looking for a world of education and entertainment? Get ready to dive into limitless excitement on iImpact Full HD TV. Micromsat 42 degrees east. Enjoy a packed lineup of thrilling shows, sports actions, electrifying music, and so much more. High Impact TV, securing the future.
Welcome back. It's still the Breakfast Cafe, and quickly let's have the weather forecast and see what's happening around the 36 states of Nigeria. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back, and that was just the weather forecast to keep you informed so that you are well prepared if you are planning to leave the home. But this is where we slowly and gradually come to the end of the program. So you enjoyed today's program. Why not join us tomorrow? Yeah, same time, same station. Remember also to follow us on all our social media handles at High Impact Studios, and of course the Breakfast Cafe _. I am Olumide Shokoya. Enjoy the rest of your day.
And of course, you know that I am your girl, Sarah Osuanta. Thank you so much for joining us. But we cannot leave the show today without doing something very fantastic. You know, producer, we said today is the birthday of someone very special to us, and we just love to wish him a happy birthday. So take a look.